the Pokemon Challenge Run, the Hardcore Nuzlocke, the Monolock, the Ironmon, the Braum Hacks, beat the game with only a Magikarp. Pokemon runs on YouTube keep getting harder and harder and harder. And to that I say, what if we just made a more casual type of challenge? Something akin to the earlier days of us just playing Pokemon and watching the cartoon and drinking some juice. So I present to you the Pokemon anime run. I recently did this on Sword and Shield first, and that kind of game is much more fitted to this kind of challenge. Legends Arceus is not really fitted to this challenge, but I wanted to replay this game anyway, so I used it as an excuse. Unlike the Sword and Shield run, instead of only getting certain encounters after each badge, since there's less split up here, we are always going to rock 6 Pokemon in this sort of challenge. I'm using a random number generator to try to pick the Pokemon out in the first area, just keep re-rolling, there's no great way to grab it. I also don't count Wurmple and Cascoon as Pokemon, so when I roll them I just immediately evolve them up, because I'm not doing that with a Wurmple here. This game is tedious enough. Also, this is my favorite evolution animation of all time. I wish I had the music recorded here. It's so good. I love it. It's the best. Come on. It's the best, and it's not close. But there's our team for the first section of the game. So every different area we will do wheels and get different Pokemon. I was just rushing through to get through the tutorial. I didn't remember that the tutorial is the whole first island. So there's not a whole lot of footage of our squad here. But we rush in, we beat up Cleaver with the power of friendship and anime, and we throw this snack. I can't believe it's just food. I thought it was something more special than just their favorite snack. Like, okay, sure. How this challenge is going to work is we'll always have a full 6, and after each area you're going to roll to replace. So we rolled high here, so we're replacing 4 Pokemon. Again, we're going to do a random number generator for Pokemon only in this next area. Kind of make it a little more diverse that way. Beating up some Mimes, beating up some Pikachus, the last of the Dustox. Unfortunately, he got boxed as we move on to the Crimson Mirrorlands. So with every new area, each Pokemon gets what's called an event wheel spin. There's a lot less events than something like Sword and Shield. And I also removed the release event with just a nothing event. Instead, since we're kind of always rocking 6 Pokemon, release just doesn't seem to really fit the vibe here. Speaking of vibes, I love the evolution animation. Again, I'm going to mention it several times. I absolutely adore. This is the best, and it's a shame that they really scaled it back for Scarlet Violet. But we're moving on. There's the squad for round 2. We also have a special rule for this run, which is you always get to pick a Pokemon to kind of keep on your team. So it's not completely random, so you have your ace. For me, it's going to be Rowlet. Every time we're always going to keep a Rowlet immune to being replaced. We get some event wheels, get some moves, check out the team, do some catching, just because that's the name of the game, is catching Pokemon. For the sake of not wanting to rip my hair out, I am personally not counting any sort of these time paradox Pokemon areas, because they're just really inconsistent and randomized. And so I'm just continuously re-rolling until I get a Pokemon that I can easily get in the upcoming area when I am doing my catches for that area. It's a bit inconsistent, but there's really not a great other way to do it that I can figure out. And we move on to the next frenzied Pokemon, this time being Hisui and Lilligant. And I realized while doing this, you really almost don't need any Pokemon. I'm sure there are challenges where you can beat this whole game without ever using a single Pokemon, except for maybe having to harvest materials. Might be the only thing, but I still want to play this game again, and so I've kind of recontextualized it as the research team. So instead of, a battle team, me and my Pokemon are the research team. So that's how I excuse using different Pokemon and sort of changing it up, is we're just doing research, and we're just trying to save the world, like any good 10-year-old from the future should. I'm not too worried about Lilligant here, because I got Yanma and a couple other flying moves. Figure this should be just fine. Yanma he's just a cute little guy. He hasn't been shown off here. So there he is. He stays with the team for a bit. And he's just a good guy. Look at him go. He's helping me research. He's helping me save the day like the best little guy he is. And we get the finishing move, throwing a nice colorful sack of food to qualm this frenzy. New area means new event wheels, which means new evolutions, which if we rolled, which we did. So Rowlet unfortunately has to evolve, but we get to show off the beautiful evolution animation again. And now once again we use wheels to decide who stays in the research team ranch. So we say goodbye to some old friends, hello to some new friends. Jolteon and Ambipom join the research squad, and there's just not a lot to show in this game. There's a couple boss battles against the troublesome evil sisters here and there, and then an occasional warden battle, and then just catching Pokemon, which I realize I should have made more sort of footage around different storylines for different evolving and different moves I could learn, try to contextualize it in a cooler storytelling setting, but I just showed myself catching the new Pokemon and fighting the bosses and fighting the frenzied Pokemon. So Cody, that's footage. Cody, that's on you. We see Jolteon get a nice cleanup on Gengar as we move into the third frenzied Pokemon, a big Arcanine. We have a handful of water types here though, so I'm not too worried. It's really just about how good my dodging skills are. We get all healed up and ready to take him on. There he is in all of his flaming golden glory. I think he probably looks the best with the golden coat than any of the other frenzied Pokemon. We got Buizel, been here since the beginning, gonna show off his stuff, try to take down the frenzied Pokemon into a state where he can calm down, so we can continue to keep the world of Hisui in a nice peaceful state with some really good dodge rolls. I mean, that was totally good and stuff. Editing, Cody, what are you doing? But look at that throw, and we move on. Move on we do as we go back to town. We're challenged by the king of the Diamond Clan, or prince, or leader, I don't know. Reading is hard, but I don't need to read to see how cute Yanma is and how good he is at defeating Leafeons. But another area means another round of event wheels, so we get some new moves for our friends, and unfortunately we will have to start saying goodbye to them. So another wheel, another batch of new friends. Before we catch some new friends, we get some new friends in the form of evolutions. Totally not another excuse for me to show off just how much I love this animation. Half this video is me just gushing over this animation. It's just so cool. And then we get Hisuian Decidueye, which I totally pronounced as Decidui for a while. I really like his design. I don't know why so many people don't like it. I think he's by far the best of the starter evolutions in this game. Maybe my favorite Hisuian Pokemon, period. But we show his might off by taking down a very strong Graveler who's totally not weak to grass. We show Celio in action as well, and then we do this very slow walk through this very ugly cave. It was just not rendered well. Pokemon, why? Pokemon, why? This game, I mean this adventure that I'm in, because I am Platinum here. I am not a narrator playing a video game, but this game is ugly. I like it. It's fun. It's probably the best Pokemon game on the Switch, but it's ugly. Like, come on. But anyway, we are back in the adventure, back in the immersion, as we find some new friends, beat up some other friends, catch some other friends, and it's all about friendship and research and saving the world. Speaking of friends, here we are catching our new friend of the area, Gible. We're totally not stealing him from a multi-battle against an Omega Alpha Gabite, which we are totally gonna beat with the power of that's not good. Don't worry, we have Gible that we just stole from you. You guys are hanging out, you're probably friends, probably family, and we're gonna make Gible defeat you. I'm sure there's no trauma. Is there Pokemon therapists in Hisui? But anyway, we don't think about that, and we move on. we look at the next event wheel, get some more add-ons for our friends, which are Bronzong and Gibble, and we go right into Electrode here. This battle is kind of annoying. I don't know, I don't like the constant tracking and stuff, and it's not my favorite. I also wish you could use more movement tools in the battle. I mean, the adventure that I myself am totally in, as I am characterizing this Ow! Ow! Oh, that hurt. Ouch, that smarts. We also don't have any great Pokemon for this matchup, as anything we have that's super effective gets super effective moves right back. Decidueye can kind of trade for a bit, as can Bronzong. Eventually, we just kind of wear it down with the power of Stall, and then throw some more bombs, throw some balls at the ball, and then one last ball of snacks at this little Electrode that I really wish had a more creative design, and there we go. Also, there's that asshole. Haven't talked about that asshole yet. I don't like them. They're not my favorite. We're gonna immediately catch one just to show we can. Totally catch it, totally. Yeah, first try. So glad that was shown on the very first try. I'm the greatest. And there's Silene, who we also haven't shown, fighting off a very fierce Wurmple, Brave Warrior, and now some evolutions. Weasel, who's been with us from the very beginning, finally gets to evolve into Floatzel, though he's been super useful. Celio just keeps evolving, I think every time has hit evolution on the wheel, so they're a Walrein now. There is some more of just things we've caught along the way, and there's the squad that ended Area 4 as we move on to Area 5 here. Decidueye thankfully learned some new moves in his event wheel, which is much appreciated because his moveset was awful. As we move on to the new area, meet some new characters. This guy's weird chest hair tattoo thing. And then this girl, she exists. I like the snow on her clothes. Looks kind of neat. As we show off this Snorunt, who joins the team. Can't wait to evolve them into a Frostlass. It would really be a shame if we got a Dawnstone and everything and prepared them, pushed off a Glalie evolution because we were going to evolve them into Frostlass. And, you know, because they totally can do that. And we also get Purugly and Riolu to join the squad for this final leg of the adventure. Well, except not really final. Final-ish. And for whatever reason, we just fuck off for like hours, just catching other Pokemon and getting other supplies. I don't really know why we did this, but there's a look at some of the different rides and stuff. Yeah, we just literally just screwed off for hours. I, again, don't know why I thought this was a good idea, but it was, I guess. And then we're trying to evolve some Pokemon for Pokédex points. Again, not really sure why. I've got more than enough stars at this point, but we have a whole squad, and I actually run into this mini boss battle here because I only have Pokemon I'm trying to evolve with friendship and the likes. So again, this is Research Squad Part B, the B Team. B-Team Gumi finishing off Rhyperior somehow, and then immediately another mini boss battle, which again, I sure wish I didn't have a bunch of underleveled, unused Pokemon, but we managed to stall out, and by that I mean he stalls us out, but all the roosts give us enough time to kind of heal and do other chip damage to finally take him out with Golbat, and now we can fly. Whee! Whee! I love the flying in this game. I wish they got it to you from the beginning. But there's our newly evolved Glalie, who is male, so he can't be a Frostlass if it wasn't obvious, showing off his skill against this Combi with a strong style Icicle Crash, narrowly getting the win there. And with our new friends, we move on to my least favorite frenzied Pokemon of the game, is Avalugg. He's just really obnoxious. He's also really ugly. I think he's the worst looking Hisuian Pokemon. And I like normal Avalugg just enough, but he's really boring, and he's really ugly looking, and he's just really annoying to fight. But we got a couple fighting types, so we'll make quick work. I know he's got a bunch of defenses, but he's 4 times weak to fighting. Yeah, Triple Arrow is not the strongest, but I mean, come on. It's Decidueye. It's me not making up my mind. But there we go with a cool, strong style Triple Arrows, which also is one of the coolest looking attacks. I hadn't actually seen it before, I don't think, in my previous run, because I didn't use Decidueye. Unfortunately, it doesn't do jack shit, and we immediately get taken down but this is not a Nuzlocke. This is just the power of research which carries us as we get a nice close combat though, which is able to do the remaining damage, and a couple dodges later we throw a nice icy snack. What is Avaleg's favorite snack? Like ice rocks? But anyway, there's the full team of everyone we've caught along the way, and for the final leg of the adventure, we're gonna mix and match. We're gonna do one final roll of 5 Pokemon because I get to keep one. My keep of choice is of course Decidueye. Everyone else gets randomized, and there's the team we're gonna beat the rest of the game with now. Just a hodgepodge of old research Pokemon joining the squad together. No new captures. We get another round of uneventful event wheels as this jerk Komodo threw us out. We run into Not Cynthia, the second Not Cynthia of the game. Didn't expect that, threw me off a bit. We just do the old lay and pray strategy, just like I play FPSs, with my amazing accuracy to obtain the Azelf's Fang, the last of the lake spirits, and we are now back in the city because the power of friendship or something allowed us back in. Also, we gotta go stop Komodo from doing something stupid, but not before evolving, because we finally got the Peat Block, because that thing's annoying, and also Ursaluna is so ugly. I lied. She's my least favorite new Pokemon, not Avalugg. Sorry, buddy. But we now have to do this pointless, kind of weird, random fight against a Koga ancestor, I guess. But Walrein does what Walrein does best, and by that I mean, honestly, he doesn't do a lot. He's not been the best friend, but he's so cool looking. Jolteon is a very good friend, though super underleveled. Most of the new friends brought in are very underleveled, which makes this fight an absolute teeth grinder. We barely scrape by, having to use some heals and whatever we have, since we only have 2 Pokemon properly leveled, and even then we're a little underleveled if his max is here, but we were able to make it through, especially with how this game handles turn-based, and they only have 4 Pokemon, so it's not as bad as it could have been. And then we go on to the top, where we fight Komodo, which I don't really get the theme of his Pokemon here, but we lose to a Golem, as Walrein does. Grotle does his best, got to show off Grotle for the first time. Turtwig didn't even get a show, I don't think, but here's our friend Grotle. He's been training, he's been practicing for a respectable Leaf Blade. And Clefable is really annoying. This thing is just really annoying. This battle took like 8 minutes of me just going back and forth, of him healing and stalling. But there we go. We somehow did Palkia off camera because I'm a good video editor. We move on to the final leg of the adventure, and this fight that we don't actually fight Dialga, which is really weird. We just damage boost through it. Totally strats. This was planned. This is how you do it. And with our time bombs, we did it. We beat the game. We saved the city, Patrick, with one cool Master Ball. And there we go. Except not really. Y'all know what's coming. We can't end this game off. This game is not complete. The Dialga fight is so anticlimactic. It's not really the end of the game. Or Palkia fight, whichever route you choose. So the real end of the game is Volo, but before Volo is the world's hardest fucking Starly for some reason. The squad is all trained up now. We're ready for this. We're prepared. We didn't record the beginning where we took out Roserade or Gastrodon or Melodic, whatever that thing is. But we are here taking out Garchomp with Walrein. I poop on him, but he shows up when he needs to. Takes a bullet punch super well, but it's just a setup for a nasty close combat. We trade back and forths here, as I think you just kind of do in this game. That's how the game is set up. It's a lot of back, forth, trades in KOs with how the speed mechanic works. But we use this opportunity with Togekiss to kind of just set up healing. After, of course, nailing him. But once we realize that we can't take him out very easily, and he's going to keep restoring and doing stat boosts, take this opportunity to just spam healing potions and revives, and then take him out but now the team is all healthy. Even though there's not many Pokemon left for Volo, we know what's coming. There's stuff after this that we needed that healing opportunity. Ursaluna shows off a nasty headlong rush for the KO as he's down to his final Pokemon, which is a weakened Spiritomb that Jolteon had fought earlier in the match. And another headlong rush later, and we seal the deal here. We beat Volo, that's it, the champion. There's totally nothing, oh yeah, there's that. Cue the reactions from all the streamers when this happened. He just straight up one-shots Jolteon. Walrein gets a little bit of chip in, but unfortunately even Walrein can't do too much damage. But this phase, we do enough in this phase to make it so that we just set up a nice headlong rush. Again, he doesn't heal that Giratina, I think any of the Giratinas, which is super nice, but we got one last phase. I think this is one of the coolest final bosses in a Pokemon game. Look at that thing, I love Giratina. But we are ready for this, we're prepared, and we're gonna hit him with a nasty bulldoze. It's okay, Torterra, there's your 6 seconds of fame. Bronzong, who's been an absolute goat this adventure. I didn't expect it. I thought that a stally Pokemon, defensive Pokemon, is actually kind of bad in this sort of format, but he's done his part. We're setting up a Leaf Blade, we're playing Yusei Run, we're showing everything we got. Rowlet from the beginning, you and I adventuring through with the power of friendship. Decidueye gives it everything he's got to finish off the last form of Giratina and completely save the Hisua region from whatever Volo was gonna do. And we just kind of let him go. He just sort of has an evil smirk and walks off, and then that's the game, unless you want to catch Darkrai and Spiritomb and Shaymin and everything else. But there is our adventures through Hisui. If you like the anime run, let me know. Let me know what kind of improvements you think could work for it. The event wheel ideas or different things to kind of mix it up. I definitely recommend if you do want to make it for content, don't do what I do and just film the boss battles. I think it's much better to film sort of more random things that you can just kind of build into storylines. If I do another anime run, that's sort of my plan, is to sort of just build other different storylines, make it... These videos are long enough, but I think there's more that can be done than just showing off the boss fights. I also think that Sword and Shield is the perfect game for this kind of run, as the wild area in DLC 1 area gives you a lot of freedom of captures very early on. This game is not as good for this style of run because there's just a lot less options and you honestly don't even really need Pokemon all that much. That being said, I still had a ton of fun with it, and let me know just what you think about this style of run.